Right,
Yeah,
go on then. So, yeah, Phil, what was your thoughts on today's game against Tottenham? Obviously, we lost 5-0.
I thought the first 20 minutes were exceptional. Obviously, Tottenham were going to go and attack us. It was always going to be difficult. I thought we'd done well. We battled hard. We defended well. There was a couple of chances in there. And I think it got to about 22nd, 23rd minute before they scored the first goal. Obviously, little balls through the middle. I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed that we did defend it a little bit better, but I mean, it was a little bit lucky on it. We can all see that. And then second goal, pretty similar, really. A little bit lucky. I think we'll all be devastated that the ball went in. And then the third and fourth goals, I mean, to be fair, you can't take nothing away from them, really. The third goal was an absolutely fantastic little dink there with the inside of the boot into the top corner. The fourth goal was no keeper in the world would have saved it probably. So to be 4-0 down half time, you're a little bit gutted, especially as Neil went through, not really one-on-one, but he went through and it's a fantastic shot. Joe Hart thinks he's going over the bar all day long, doesn't he? He turns around looking at it like, going to the bar, just thinks it, comes back inside. And, and that was a 0-0 as well. So if that goal would have gone, if that shot, would have gone in, who knows really? But, to be fair, the first half there, I thought we were a little bit unlucky, but, one of them. Second half, we played well. We held it for 30 minutes, second half. We didn't really have any shots on target. We just sort of held it. But, the difference in the size is massive, isn't it? Tottenham were top of league when we drew them. There's 8 divisions between us. What could we hope for there, really? But, I think in general there, really, we can't be disheartened by the way we played. We played really well. There's just a bit of a class above us. And, I think if we all would have said before, as we did last night, what score was it? We all would have probably said 3, 4, 5-0. And we probably all got it right. So, I'm disappointed. I'm gutted. But, we played well. And to be fair, we've played 7 games this season. So, how can we be disheartened with that? We've done really, really well. So, fair play to Neil. Fair play to the team. They've all done really well. So, fair play to them.
Obviously, the team played Boston. They've been Boston. But obviously, leading to this game, we have had Motore, and he gives us a lot going forward. So, do you think we missed that today, especially on the counter-attack where he could have caused them a few more problems, kind of thing?
I mean, it's obvious that we did because Motore is a class player, but we didn't really have any chances, did we? There was not that many chances where we broke away from their midfield or their defence. I think really in the first half there was only the one chance where we broke away from them, where Kenny hit the shot and hit the bar. But apart from that, first and second half, we didn't really have any chances, to be fair, did we? So it was, it was one of them really. We would have loved to have some more chances, but we just didn't really get there. It was disappointing, but you know what? Like I say, we've done well to get where we are.
The last thing on last year's 1, the cup run, and 2, obviously we know Young's staying now for hopefully 4 years after signing the contract. So what did you think about the cup run, and what do you expect to happen in the next 3 or 4 years?
Well, if you look the past few seasons, there's been a lot of clubs who've done really well in the cup. And generally, when they do well in the cup, they do well the season after as well. So, like Stourbridge and teams like that, Warrington a few years ago. But I think in general, it sets in a good stead, doesn't it? You can attract better players. You've got a little bit more money to offer them. It all comes hand in hand, doesn't it? So I think there'd be a lot of players who'll be looking at our side and think, oh, they look a bit of all right, don't they? And they'll want to come with us. Sometime in the past few seasons where there might be the player where you're looking at and you're trying to sign them, and they'll go to that team who've had that little bit of a better cup success rather than you have. So I think we'll be in good stead for the next few seasons.
The other thing, Phil, is we'll be able to offer them better wages. I think you're on mute there.
How many players did we lose to Warrington after their cup run? I always remember Dave Mack saying to me, so and so we're looking at Y, Z, and then it was a case of 50 quid a week or something, like,
Well, when you're only playing for 150 quid a week and then you get offered 200, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? So, you know.
Of course, yeah.
That's it. That's the bit I'm looking forward to now, is not worrying about our players being poached to Warrington and them other teams, that we are actually in a position where we can try and retain. There is a chance of us retaining players now.
I think, like I said before, the problem is now is the teams that are playing, the teams like Stockport, Altrincham, Fylde, Southport, Chester, Chorley, they're the ones that are still playing games. They're the ones looking at our players now thinking, the ones that aren't on contract, we can get them in. That's going to be the issue. But we'll see what happens anyway. But then again, we're talking about the money, so we should be able to replace as and where fit, and everyone's got full faith in Neil Young.
So go with you, Matt. What was your thoughts on today's game?
Sort of muchly as Phil said. I thought the first 20 minutes, I thought we were really good. Obviously, it was always going to be difficult. They were very, very good. What I found interesting, what a lot of my friends were saying, was that it didn't feel like we just put 11 men behind the ball. We didn't get many chances and that, but we did try and have a game, and we did go at them, and I'm glad we did that. Because it would have been very easy to say, look, let's just put 11 men behind the ball and let's just hope to God we don't get beat 27-0. But we did go and have a go, and obviously we don't really create that much, but we have the one chance. And as Phil said, that's the moment where I don't know about you lot, but I was off my sofa screaming at the telly. And that could be the one, couldn't it? That could be, and if that goes in, who knows what happens. But I think the first two goals kill us. And yeah, there are some questions you could ask, but the quality was just there, wasn't it, for them compared to us? And then the third and the fourth are just brilliant, and so's the fifth. I think the only other major thing to take away from the game itself is that second half. We said in the preview about the tenacity of the team and the team not knowing when their races run. And I think we saw that in the second half, because it would have been very, very, very easy to give up and to fold over. Because if that's me in that position, that's probably what I would have done. I would have given up. Because they were 5-0 down, and who wants to be out there when you're 5-0 down? We all will have played football at whatever levels in our times. Being 5-0 down is rubbish. But they kept at it, they kept going, and we had a couple of moments in that last 20 minutes where we could have got through and we could have scored, which is, I think by half time, we all just said, just a goal would be lovely. We didn't get it, but to me, Cagney hitting the bar is almost as close as a goal. So nothing more to say from the game itself than we can just be immensely proud of how they turned out. And that's on national television. There would have been millions of people watching that. And what I was worried about was it would get to 7, 8, 9, particularly at 4 at half time. You were worried about 7, 8, 9. And then you'd be getting that, well done, plucky Marine. And it would all start to get a bit patronising. But I don't think it did. And I think they can be really, really proud of what they've done today. And I think we can be proud of them as well.
Then just the final thing, one your thoughts on the cup run, and the second thing is obviously Neil Young signed a new contract, so he's going to be here for the next 4 years. What do you expect in the next 3 or 4 years with me?
In terms of the cup run, as Phil said, the major thing is the money. The money's huge. The money's always going to be huge. But alongside the money, it's the exposure as well. And I have my mates down here who, during the game, were asking me about Crosby and were asking me about where Marine is. And were saying, and I was sending them, there's that, the lad Dad on Instagram, we took the big picture from the drone where you can see the ground and then the sea. And I sent that in. They going, that looks amazing. Let's get up there. and let's go. And now they genuinely want to come up. And there will have been hundreds of people around the Liverpool area who will have seen that and thought the same. Thought, I want to get there. And obviously now with the situation, it might not be a long time. It might be a very long time until people can do that. But, pardon me, that's the beer. That's a seed sown, isn't it? And hopefully people will keep coming, and hopefully that will happen. And the exposure's huge. And the 30k on the virtual tickets, that's amazing. It's amazing, both in terms of the money and in terms of the exposure. In terms of where we're going to be in a few years, hopefully. I don't want to sound like I've had a few too many and I'm over optimistic, but there's no reason why we shouldn't be looking at Conference North. No reason why we shouldn't be looking at Conference North. Obviously, it's going to be, as Mark, you were saying, it's going to be very difficult to keep this team together. Incredibly difficult to keep this team together. In an ideal world, we would. Going to be very, very hard. But with Neil and with the management structures in place, I think we've all got a bit of faith that the people that, if they do have to bring in replacements, are going to be just as good. And they're going to make the good decisions again. And with that money behind us, with the exposure, with the nous, both on the pitch and off the pitch we've got at the club, there's no reason why in 3-4 years' time we shouldn't be playing Conference North football, in my opinion. And that's where I want to see us aim. And that's where I want to see us go.
Yeah. Cheers, Matt. Go with you, Jamie. Just your thoughts on today's game, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so proud of them. I almost think the score's irrelevant. I mean, I know we're pleased that it wasn't 10-0, and so am I. But I think to keep it to 5, I think it was a great effort. And I think you're right when you say they really got stuck in that second half. You know, I think when you saw the camera in the dressing room, I thought it was really interesting, wasn't it? You saw like Niall going, come on. And I think he really led the team well today, didn't he? I think he was, he won a lot of headers as well. He did his job, didn't he? He roughed up a few of the defenders and he won quite a few of it. I think I don't know if you've mentioned James Joyce, I thought was absolutely superb today. I thought he was man of the match. I thought he was brilliant. And he was unlucky with that shot that got blocked. I think that was a really good shot. That was a great move, probably the move of the game from Marine's point of view. So it was interesting listening to Neil after the game when he said there was possibly he would have liked them to have got stuck into a few more tackles early on. I think we were talking about that before the game. I think there was a little bit of they were a little bit starstruck early on. Maybe didn't charge into them. I think, am I right in saying there was only one booking?
Yeah, I think there was only one there. Joyce, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I find that a bit disappointing. I'd like to have seen a few bookings. I think they should have got stuck in a bit more. And I think, but sometimes the reason you can't tackle someone is because you can't get near them. And there was a lot of that. The possession. How often do Marine come up against a team that can pass the ball 10, 15 times?
Never.
Not very often.
Never,
Not very
Jake.
often.
Never.
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare you play a team that keeps possession. You got to remember you're chasing the ball constantly. They must have been shattered by the end of it. These are guys who are part-time. The stress and the work they've been going through, the stress of COVID, if they've got families, jobs, all that kind of thing. Tottenham players haven't had to cope with that. So I think, all that builds up. And to only lose the second half 1-0 was a fantastic effort. So I think we can all be very proud.
I think today was a bonus, isn't it? What's your thoughts being on the cup? And then secondly, obviously, Neil Young signed the 3 and 4 year contract. What do you expect in that time?
I think Neil signing's great news. I think anyone who's been a neutral will have been impressed by Neil during, all these television interviews. My wife was saying he comes across as such a good bloke, and I think loads of people will be thinking that. And he set his side out well today. They matched them for 20 minutes. There's a lot of teams that won't have been able to do that. So I think we've got a good one there. We've just got to hope, we get back to playing, we get back to some kind of normality. I don't think it's going to be until August. I think this season's a write-off now, isn't it? I think we're going to have to face up to that. Hopefully keep our contracted players, delve into the transfer market again over the summer with our with our new what do they call it, treasure chest, and fingers crossed we go again next season. And there's no reason with our experience and our wages, we shouldn't absolutely dominate this league. I mean, we've seen the standard of this league over the last couple of seasons, and I think this is the time to really get out of it. We've been unlucky. 2 seasons have been, partly, messed up. So I think if we do get a full proper season with a crowd behind us, and let's hope a few more of those people will have come back who've got into Marine now, we might be looking at 500, 600, 700 next season, which would be fantastic if they're getting behind them. That's going to help. So, let's get behind them. And next season, I think, can be a promotion season.
Okay. Just go with you, Mark, then. Just unmute. So, Mark, what was your thoughts on today's game?
Well, I watched the Morecambe game before, and I thought they got beat 4-0 against a misfiring Chelsea team. And I thought, well, if 4 or 5-0 for Marine, that'd probably be an all right result. And obviously, the way it turned out, it was that result. And the handicap was 5-0, was it? I think it was a 5-0 handicap, the pundit. So it wasn't a bad day in the office, considering we had sub 25% possession in each half. So, we were struggling to put 3 passes together most of the time. Like Jamie said, yeah.
Mark, do you remember that stat that came up in the first half when it was like 170 passes?
Yeah,
against
300 or something or whatever. Yeah.
We hadn't even done a pass a minute, had we?
No. Well, even for both halves, I thought Joyce and Barragan, I couldn't make my mind up on who was the best player, who was going to be man of the match for Marine. But they both, everyone played brilliantly, but those two stood out for me. I don't know how Kengi's going to sleep tonight. He's going to be going through that in his head, that shot at the bar, waking up in a cold sweat. But yeah, I didn't expect us to win. He always, Adam said last night, there's that little bit of you that just thinks, we could get this shock giant killing, but it just wasn't our night. It wasn't meant to be. But you know what? We've got nothing to lose, have we? We've made it this far. We've got the money. It's a bit of a blessing at the end of the day.
So basically, the next is what was your thoughts on the cup run, and secondly, obviously, about Neil signing that contract, and where do you expect Marine to be in the next 3 or 4 years?
We talked a lot about that last night, didn't we? We talked about Neil and the cup run and that, and what's going to happen next. And we talked briefly before about the players, what can we keep, and hopefully the contract ones can stay here and things like that. And if the ones aren't in contract and they want to go to Conference North and conference level, national level, then that's fine. It's that they're bettering themselves and things like that. But in terms of the club itself, I don't think the club should invest too much in the ground, so to say. It doesn't need ground improvements yet. Kind of want to be focusing on the Conference North. We've got a Conference North, stadium status. We can get in there. We can play in that league. But let's just get there first. Let's just concentrate on the players and the infrastructure. And then once you get there, we can accumulate and sort of get the crowds in and maybe get a decent run and try and sustain it. Because the problem is, if you increase your wage budget so high, that money's going to run out at some point, and we're left with this high wage bill that, I think Grons mentioned it previously when we were chatting to him and stuff, we need to be sustainable. And you get all, 5-10 years time, might be talking about grounds and things like that. If we can stay in the Conference North, then, that's the next level of Marine. But at this moment in time, I'd like all the money to go into the squad itself.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
David, do you want the next game? What did you think of the game, mate?
Oh, it was an amazing, momentous occasion. I thought 20 minutes to keep them out was just brilliant. It wasn't embarrassing. I thought the goals were spread out well. I thought, the first couple of goals, of course, disappointing. I think defensively we could have done better there, but you know, it was what it was. And the free kick, given that we gave a lot of free kicks away there in prime position for them to score, and I thought we will get punished, and that's what happened when you've got world-class players, you know, there. And I thought at half-time, just keep it respectful, and I thought we were really professional the second half and kept on going. And you could see that Neil Young at half-time was clearly saying keep on going and pointing out where we could improve, and I think that's a testament to the hard work that they've all put in, that we kept on going.
Your thoughts on the cup run, and obviously Neil signed a new contract, so where do you expect and want Marine to be in the next 3 or 4 years?
I think the cup run's been unreal, hasn't it? I think the Barnoldswick game, you know, we got very lucky, but, you know, we needed that. I think at Marine, we haven't had that much luck over the years, and we got that. And I think the Nantwich game, when we won 4-1, I think that made everyone go, hang on a minute, we can actually play really well against higher opposition. And the Colchester game, as everybody has really touched on, how tactically disciplined we were. It was unreal. You know, a lot of people watched that game and were just impressed, really, with how well we were. You wouldn't have thought that we were in the 8th tier of English football that game. And we took a massive shot.
Yeah, thanks, David. Thanks for that. Go with you, Adam. You'll mute yourself.
Take a bit of time.
Anyway, it wasn't letting me unmute for some reason.
Go on. What was your thoughts on the game today, mate?
So yeah, really happy with how it went. You know, we were in that game for the opening 20 minutes. As Matt said before, you never know how that game would have played out if Kingley's goal had gone in. Joe obviously breathing a very big sigh of relief after that. The discipline was there for 90 minutes, and then in the second half we made a change, didn't we? When we ended up playing with 2 up front, and all of a sudden we started spending a bit more time in their half. We were able to attack their goal a bit more. Really happy across the board. We knew Neil would have this team disciplined. We knew they would hard work. And for me, as a fan, all I wanted to see was these players work hard and play the game, not the occasion. And that's exactly what they did. And even at 5-0, they never played as if they were 5-0 down. No heads dropped. And you really can't ask more than that of the players who've given us this unbelievable cup run.
And your thoughts, obviously, on the cup run, and obviously Neil signed a new contract for 3 or 4 years. Where do you expect or hope to be in then when 4 years is up?
Having a manager sign a contract for a large period of time who's giving you a cup run like this, not many clubs will have that at this level. So there's a stability there that's very rarely ever seen. If we do lose players between now and the summer, because as Mark had mentioned earlier about teams that are still playing within driving distance, then there's a stability there. Marine's name now has a prestige about it that players will want to play for, and hopefully we'll continue getting gates of 700 to 800 people. That's my hope for the future, is a lot of people will come to watch Marine when we can play games and have, you know, higher attendances. I've done what Matt said before. I don't think it's unreasonable to think that this team can't get to Conference North. If it hadn't have been for COVID disrupting the league, we've had 2 promotion challenges up to this point that have both been scuppered in 2 seasons because of what's gone on. So, yeah, I think the foundations are there, the infrastructure's in place, and yeah, I think Marine are going to go places they've never been before, and I think that place could be Conference North.
Just go with Paul next.
Yeah, mate,
What was your thoughts on today's game, mate?
Fantastic. From the first 15 minutes, played fantastic. I thought the team was playing well and stuff, and then obviously when the goal went in, it's expected because you're playing against the Premier League team, so what you expect is like, it wasn't the best sort of goal to concede, but when you're playing against these sort of teams, it's like, that's what you expect. Like, so I thought after that, it was one after another, but half time, it was like 4-0 down, but I just thought Marine, he played great before that, like, so it's tough. You're playing against the Premier League side, and what you expect, this is Marines FA Cup final now, so mistakes made or not mistakes made, it's like you can't even complain against anything that he's done today. So in the first half, anyway, yeah, fantastic.
What's your thoughts on the cup run? And obviously Neil signed a new contract, so where do you expect to be in like 3 or 4 years?
Well, obviously, to be honest, at the start of it, Barn Alswick, we shouldn't have even won the first game. Supposedly, should we? The first World Cup run, supposedly we shouldn't have even won the first one. Magically, we got that last minute one, so crazy. Right, so it just shows you how far we've come from just about winning that first game to now where we've come to becoming playing Tottenham in the third round of the FA Cup from Barn Alswick in the first qualifying rounds and questionable cup runs and stuff. So it's fantastic, to be honest. I'm just happy to see where the club's come, to be honest, and Neil's going to take the club forward, and what I've heard, fantastic for what's going on for the future.
Just going to do like man of the match things. So go around just and ask man of the match. So start with Phil. Who was your man of the match today?
I don't know, a bit of a tough one, really. I think probably was like a standout player for Marine. I don't know.
I'll drop this on you, mate.
I think, do you know what? I'm going to be like dead, like on the fence here. I just think that we all played really well. We all done our job. We all tried hard. We all gave 110%. Can't really give a man of the match, to be fair. I mean, like, it's tough, innit? You know, you get beat 5-0. How can you pick a man of the match? But I just think we all done well, to be fair. I couldn't pick a player on the opposed to that. It's tough. Go on, who can you pick then?
Barragan.
Barragan, Mark, yeah.
Unbelievable, yeah. Like, even when Joyce went forward, he was there, like running back, covering, getting back in the left back position.
I'll pick Barragan then.
Every triangle that we made in passes, he started them. Both halves.
I thought Barragan, personally, I think Barragan's brilliant, to be honest.
You took Barragan out of that team, I reckon 7-0, 8-0. Seriously.
To be fair, like, Barragan played well, like,
yeah,
but like, it's all picking. Like I say, you get beat 5-0. Who'd you pick?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
We all play well, didn't we?
I think we should also mention the keeper. I think Bailey did well. Yeah. You know, there was a couple of saves early on that were awkward. One from Dele Alli, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It was a great punch out, and I know we often criticise his handling and his the way he commands the box. I thought he was brilliant, and he must have been absolutely cacking it. He must have been so nervous.
He's only just turned 20 as well, hasn't he, Jamie?
He's
like,
20.
His birthday the other month, like.
Exactly. There was a lot of focus on him as well because of the going to the shops for the beer and all that. And I thought he handled himself brilliantly. Maybe the goal that went in at the near post could have done better on. Apart from that, they were all fantastic finishes.
Yeah.
You couldn't get near any of them. But 100%. He made some great saves. He commanded the box well. He came out well. His kicking was good. So I think he deserves a lot of credit as well.
And he saved a Bale free kick.
Yeah.
You know, a 20-year-old who's back in Sainsbury's tomorrow. You know what I mean? So
we got to remember that first half we were undone by a player who's played 40 times for England. You know, he's played in a World Cup. Has got a point to prove. And he's more than likely going to move to Paris Saint-Germain in a few weeks.
Yeah.
You know, that was the guy who undid our defence today. It's like,
Right, it's not bad, is it?
I know.
It's madness.
I'm going to go
enough,
totally
Madness.
against all of you. Totally against all of you for my man of the match. And I agree with everything you've all said. But for the shot, for the feeling inside my stomach that it gave me, like it being my first love, I've got to give it to Neil Kingney. Just for that one shot. It gave me a feeling inside my stomach like I was at Disneyland.
I mean, to be fair, if that shot goes in, we party, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. I've
Well,
got to give
Phil,
it.
you
And I
did.
thought also, in a very
And as well,
serious
at
sense,
0-0, at 0-0 there.
in a very
flying
serious
out.
sense as well, both him and Niall Cummins had really thankless jobs today. Just
Oh, yeah, it's
run
a
and
thankless
run and
task.
run. And I thought he did
It's
that
a
job
thankless
really, really
task.
well. I thought he did that job really well of just running them hard. And sort of, just one thing I wanted to drop in, I was just thinking of, because I said this to a few of my mates. At half time, I sort of thought, after 5 minutes of being annoyed, I thought, do you know what? I'd rather it be 4-0 than 2-0. Because at 2-0, I've still got some hope. Whereas at 4-0, I just went, do you know what? I'm going to get a few more beers and I'm just going to enjoy it. And that's what I did in the second half. I just put my feet up and I enjoyed it. And that was nice in a weird way. But yeah, my man of the match, Neil Kingney. Hands down.
David, yours?
I was going to back Jamie and say, yeah, Bailey. I'm really pleased with some of the saves that he made. I think he organised his walls well for the free kick. And I just hope that when it all settles down, his confidence is still there. Of course, when you're young, especially in a 5-0 defeat, you're going to think, maybe I didn't play well, but he did amazing and really proud of him. I thought Wignall did well when he came on as well off the bench. I'd like to have seen a little bit more of him, if I'm honest. I did think maybe to start because
he got a bit of joy down the right, didn't he? And it was.
I think, like, to me, when I saw that he wasn't starting, I thought I was a little bit like, I gutted for him, but made up that everyone came on, especially Kenny Strickland.
Yeah,
been a brilliant
that's a good point, actually, Dave. Yeah, really glad he rolled the subs. They all deserved that moment.
Well,
Absolutely.
I think I said last night. Kenny's been at Marine now since 2017, so
he's a stalwart.
He's been here for 4 years. He's our longest saving player. I think he's played something stupid like 135 games for us.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
You know,
this is his second spell, though, isn't it? Isn't it his second spell as well?
I'm not sure, but possibly. But I mean, 135 games for a non-league team is very impressive. You know, we've all said before, non-leagues lack a bit of a revolving door, and so these players come in, the players go out. But you know, to be fair to Kenny, like, you know, to be there for 4 years at one team, it's pretty impressive.
Amazing, isn't it?
I was glad he came on.
He's a fantastic player as well. He's an absolutely fantastic player. Kenny?
Probably all talking about like transfers and stuff, but I guarantee one player will be here in August. Kenny Strickland.
Kenny and Germano forever.
Yeah, Germano Mendes will never leave.
Yeah. Are you just going to wrap it up now because we only got about 4 minutes?
Anyone who's not done man of the match?
We've only got 4 minutes left, so go on, Adam.
Quickly go round.
I'm going to go, Shuffle. Joyce, I'm going to go with Joyce, or you know, I'd even say Cummins as well. I thought Cummins sacrificed a lot of his game today.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
it was a very thankless task. So no, I thought I'll probably go with Joyce because I thought Joyce worked really, really hard in that mill and just sacrificed a lot of his game as well.
One of my favourite bits of the game was when he ripped the lad's shirt, Cummins, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant.
I love that one.
That was one of my favourite moments.
The commentary.
Yeah. So, Paul, your last who's your man of the match?
James Foley.
I've said,
Billy Smart.
No, I thought it was. Aye, lads. No, I thought it was. Cummins done well today for me. Tried to hold up as much as he could and stuff. So it was a tough gig up front today. So trying to hold up as much as he could. So I'll give it to him today for myself.
Have you ever tried his cider, Paul?
I've tried come inside there.
Come inside there.
I've also awful.
Yeah, it's nice.
Come on, we're all better than
Oh,
that.
sorry.
I've tried it once. It's awful.
Right. You've got 3 minutes left, yeah. So anything you want to add, go ahead.
What did we think?
I'd just like to say, the committee have been excellent, haven't they?
Yeah, worth saying. Absolutely,
you look at the work they've done over the past few weeks to even try and get the fans in has been unbelievable. And all right, we haven't got there, but do you know what? Unbelievable.
I think they got the appreciation from Gary Lineker and Ian Wright, and they were all raving about it, weren't they? And they seemed very genuine about that. They seemed like they'd enjoyed the day, and that's great. That means something. So I was pleased with that.
No.
I
Quick
thought
to Richard Dunst get some spotlight as well when he was getting interviewed. Richard had spent hours upon hours, as we know. He's such a hard-working individual from me, and so it was great seeing him getting some individual spotlight today.
And also seeing El Brev's flag.
Yes,
live on BBC. Yeah,
BBC, El Brev flag. Nice to see.
You'll never meet a more arrogant bunch than the BBC.
On a more serious point, I thought Dion Dublin's commentary annoyed me a little bit. I thought he was a bit patronising, wasn't he?
I was about to say patronising is the key word. Yeah,
I'm never watching Holmes on the Hammer again.
One thing I thought was patronising. Go on.
Ah, well.
But Ian Wright and Alan Shearer really respectful, weren't they? And they were saying, these were the sort of grounds you used to play at when you were juniors and coming through, and he was talking it as if it was like a park pitch, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Too much focus on the neighbours as well, I thought.
Yeah. There was a girl with prosecco and a strawberry in it, and he said, "Oh, look at her with a strawberry in a glass." It's like, where have you been the last 20 years?
This Marines moment.
Not 1983 anymore.
He was eyeing up the house prices, I think, wasn't he? For
certainly, yeah. Right, I think we're running low on time now, so we have to call it.
We've got 1 minute left.
That's it, lads.
I think we'll get to the first round in the next couple of years under Neil Young. Get the first round, get us all there, and we'll have our day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And get the boys back in there.
Yeah. I'll predict we'll be at least a second round next year.
Yeah. Let's do it again.
Let's do it
All
again.
the Mariners. All the Mariners.
We'll be there.
we're going to lose.
Boys.
Up the Mariners. Well done, everyone.